Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday pre-Thanksgiving edition of the Live Ones, and they did it. Crazy sons of bitches did it. They put a G5 team in the official playoff rankings. I never in a million years thought they would have done it, but big here. They also now have Michigan at number 5 and Notre Dame up to number 6. I just have a feeling if somehow, some way, Cincinnati winds up losing to Houston in the American Championship game, they're going to jump Notre Dame ahead of them, despite the fact that Cincinnati beat Notre Dame back in September. And if Michigan beats Ohio State this Saturday, very, very unlikely, but just, if something crazy happens, forget about it. Cincinnati will be out just like that, even if they do win out. They'll have 2 SEC teams and 2 Big Ten teams, and with Alabama almost certainly going to lose to Georgia in the SEC title game, 2 of those teams will have 2 losses. And they'll both get into the playoffs ahead of Cincinnati, even if Cincinnati goes 13-0. And it'll just be the saddest freaking display. But yeah, rivalry week coming up this Friday and Saturday. So many historic games on the way. The Game, the Iron Bowl, Good Old Fashioned Hate, the Bedlam Bowl, Commonwealth Cup, Florida Cup, Civil War, Land Grant Trophy, Territorial Cup, Land of Lincoln, Old Oak and Bucket, Paul Bunyan's Axe, Palmetto Bowl. This is the week those of us in the cold of college football live for all year. It's our Super Bowl. Speaking of big days in sports, today, wow. Every single league packing all of their games into today ahead of Thanksgiving tomorrow. Thanksgiving is owned lock, stock, and lot by the NFL, although there are a couple of college hoops games as well. They've started doing that kind of under the radar, but it does happen. But yeah, 65 college basketball games today, 13 NBA games, and 14 NHL games to cover. It honestly feels like a Saturday today. This might wind up being a super show, but let's get right to it. And we are going to start in college basketball with Ohio State and Florida. This line opened up at 139.5 and was knocked down to 137.5 by the public. I'm guessing as a result of the knockdown, drag-out affair Ohio State had with Seton Hall last night. Both of these teams are playing their third night in a row. Ohio State edged out the Pirates 79-76, and the Gators had a cakewalk over Cal. But you know what? It's a wash as far as I'm concerned. Legs are just as tired for both teams. That typically means softer, less physical defense and more scoring opportunities for offenses. And these two offenses can score, make no mistake. Ohio State is currently 4th in the country in offensive efficiency, averaging just shy of 77 points a game, 46.7% from the floor, 39% from 3, and 76% from the foul line. Florida, no slouch either, 33rd in the country, averaging 76.5 points a game. They've got a balanced attack that's good in the paint and good from the perimeter. Florida's real strength is, of course, its defensive efficiency, 10th in the country. But like we said, these guys are all tired. Add to that the fact that the Buckeyes' defense is noticeably suspect. They gave up 74 to Niagara, 71 to Xavier, and 76 to Seton Hall. And I think we're looking at a much higher total than the 137.5 that the public's bet this down to. Take the over here all day. So then over to TCU versus Pepperdine. I bet against Pepperdine in their game against UC Davis, and it cost me. This offense, while not great, while not that accurate from the paint at all at 41.6%, is very, very fast. Plays in the top quintile of pace in the nation and generates a lot of scoring opportunities, if not a whole lot of points. They're just very inconsistent in that regard. They can go for 75 or they can go for 60. It's pretty much the exact opposite of TCU, who are more than happy to just get a small lead and protect it. Controlling the clock as much as possible and getting the best looks. TCU's offense is in the bottom third of the country in points per game and just wins its game by playing maximum protection on the perimeter, only allowing 39.3% from the floor. They're happy to just deep freeze it, and it shows in their 1-3 ATS record so far this year. We've said all year that Pepperdine is a first-half team, that they typically run out of gas around minute 31 or 32. No doubt from the pace they tend to play. This is a team that scores on average 33.5 points in the first half and 30 points in the second. That's a noticeable difference. TCU similarly locks it down a whole lot more in the second half. They give up 2 points fewer in the second half on average than the first. Now these don't sound like, on their own they don't sound like a whole big deal in terms of difference, but both of these trends are in opposition to the national average. Obviously more points are scored in the second half, generally speaking, in the game of basketball, between the garbage time of runaway games and the rampant fouling of close games. So it means something that both of these teams are going to have less points put on the board in the second half. I fully expect TCU to win this game, but 11 is a lot of points for them to cover for a full game, and 6 points is certainly a lot for them to cover in the first half, given the way these two teams typically play. So I am taking Pepperdine plus 6 in the first half tonight. And then on to the really big game today, UConn and Auburn. There's been a ton of line movement on this game this morning. It opened up at UConn minus 2.5, and it's down to UConn minus 1. I'm sorry. I know Auburn's undefeated. I know they have Jabari Smith. He's a phenomenal two-way player. But did you see that game on the road that they had against USF where Auburn shot 21 of 61 from the floor and made a game they should have won going away way too close? You try not to react too much to one game, but it's an indicator that there are just flaws in the Tigers' game, particularly on offense. You can't have those when you're playing UConn. UConn is just a different animal on offense. They're one of the elites, to be sure. That trio of Adama Sanogo, Tyrese Martin, and R.J. Cole on offense, Jalen Gaffney generating turnover after turnover, Andre Jackson, the rebound machine, Isaiah Whaley on defense, Tyler Polley leading a bench that's putting up an insane 37 points a game. Do you know how many NBA teams would kill to be able to get 37 points a game from their bench? The Huskies don't have a single hole or weakness anywhere on their team. They have the second-ranked offense in the country behind only Gonzaga, and the fourth-ranked defense behind only Virginia Tech, UC Irvine, and LSU. They have annihilated everyone they've gone up against so far. Yes, Auburn is a massive step up in defense from the teams they've played. UConn's not going to put up a 90 spot tonight, at least I don't think so. But their defense is just as good, if not better, than the Tigers for sure, and I absolutely give them the edge on offense, just due to experience. You've got to take UConn here, especially at what amounts to a pick'em with a -1 spread. Give me the Huskies laying the single point tonight. So from college on to the pros, and we're going to start off taking a look at the Lakers and the Pacers. The Lakers are the absolute drizzling shits on defense with or without LeBron James, but at least with him in the lineup, their offensive rating improves by almost 12 points per 100 possessions. He's going to be coming back from his one-game suspension tonight as long as he's healthy, which every indication is that he is. LeBron is still LeBron. He'll still give you 23, 6, and 6 a game, even now in the twilight of his career. The Pacers have a mid-tier at best defense that could definitely be hurting tonight without Karis LeVert, who's dealing with a back injury. He might play, he might not play, but if he does, he certainly doesn't look like he's going to be 100%. Lakers still have the 8th-ranked offense in the NBA, and when LeBron's on the court, 110 points is usually very much within reach against most NBA teams. And against the Pacers, I think it's going to be easy for them to get over that hump. So give me the Lakers team total over 106.5 tonight. So then to the West Coast game, Sixers and the Warriors. After a blazing hot start to the season, the 76ers have just won 2 of their last 8 games and now have a record of 10-8. They're coming off of a road victory against the Sacramento Kings where they won without any of the starters from last year's team in the lineup. As has been the case, their problems are continuing tonight. Joel Embiid is out. Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, and Danny Green are all listed as questionable. Even if all of them played, this Warriors team is simply a different animal. The Warriors have breezed through the league to the NBA's best record. For the season, the Warriors have covered the spread in 12 of their last 17 games, with the under hitting in all 11 of those. They have the number 1 offense in the NBA with 114.2 points per game. They have the number 1 defense in the NBA, allowing 101.1 points per game. And they're facing a team that's had to cobble lineups out of spit and baling wire for the last month, and it's absolutely beginning to show a detrimental effect. I expect the Warriors to get out to a hot start like they always do. This is a team that generates an average of 31.1 points in the first quarter, which is 16% higher than the league average. Sixers are on the tail end of a 6-game road trip, 2 straight weeks on the road where their defense has just not been there, giving up 108 points a game. The Warriors should win this one in a walk, and I'd like them to get out to an early lead to put the Sixers in a hole. I'm actually going to take the first quarter tonight with the Warriors -3. Okay, so then over to the NHL. And staying with the Philadelphia teams, the Flyers are playing the Panthers tonight. This one's a no-brainer for me. The Florida Panthers are second only to the Edmonton Oilers in terms of offensive output. They're facing a Flyers team tonight whose wheels have come out from under them defensively after a couple of weeks where they were playing incredibly tight hockey. Flyers have given up 4 or more goals in 4 out of their last 5 games, and yes, while 2 of those games were against the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions, I really think it's a regression back to the mean for this team who just don't really have an identity on defense anymore. Keith Yandel was obviously not a great pickup here at the tail end of his career. Really, aside from Travis Sanheim, the Flyers aren't working with much in their own zone. And Carter Hart's problems are well documented at this point. Hart's getting the night off after his butt kicking in Tampa Bay last night, and Martin Jones is in between the pipes for the Orange and Black. I don't smell a good night in store for the Flyers. Panthers are chugging along in the month of November, being their usual unstoppable selves on offense, scoring 37 goals in their last 10 games, including against some tight defenses in Carolina, Washington, the Islanders, and Tampa Bay. I am jumping all over their team total over 3.5 goals here tonight. I am expecting a blowout. So then over to the Bruins and the Sabres. The Bruins currently find themselves near the bottom of that insanely competitive Eastern Conference and are coming off of a humiliating 4-0 home loss to the Flames. But as we've said all season, when you need to get right, one of the best teams to do it against is the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres are in the midst of a dreadful 2-8-1 stretch. They opened the season 3-0. We all said, well, what? What's going on here? No, the Sabres are who we thought they were. This team simply has no talent anywhere. Jeff Skinner has faded into nothingness since they got him from Carolina. Their best goal scorer is the constantly injury-plagued Tage Thompson. Not only can these guys not score, they're not getting a ton of good looks either. Close to the bottom of the league in terms of shots per game. Aaron Dell is in goal for the Sabres tonight. He has a putrid 3.74 GAA and 874 save percentage. Bruins should be able to light up the back of the net tonight. Over their past 11 games, the Sabres' average goal differential has been minus 1.6. They're losing by multiple goals every game, seems like. You're getting good even money value on the Bruins puck line here at plus 105. Grab it while you can. That is my final play for the night. Everyone bet safe and stay safe. Follow us on Twitter at Live One Sports. Check us out on Roku and Fire TV at the Live Ones. I may or may not have my plays for Thanksgiving up tonight. We shall see how the night goes for me. But if I don't have a video for you before then, everyone have yourselves a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I will see you when I see you, really, probably Friday.